Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us in London. Thanks so much for taking the time. Maybe you can set the scene for us and fans who maybe are fans of the book, fans of the films, where they find themselves at the beginning of this new show. I think Emily Watson said 10,000 years before Chalamet, BC.
I think that's a good reference point. What do you think?
What year exactly is that?
Don't ask me. I know nothing.
Yeah, we're 5,000 years before on different planets, so there's a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to that the audience, the Dune audience as well, hadn't seen yet.
Yeah, it's like a really kind of fresh angle on a universe that I think they're really familiar with, you know, and know and love already. But it approaches it from a kind of completely unexpected chapter, if you like, as a prequel. And a lot of the imagery will be incredibly different. So there's lots to discover, I think.
When the idea was first put to you about coming on board with the show, what was your first thought, knowing that there is just such this rich source material, this universe that already exists, such a fan base for it? What did you first think?
Yeah, there's a bit of intimidation, sure, you know, a bit of pressure to deliver, but it's such a great team that HBO and that put together. I think they've really delivered, and hopefully we complement the movies and the books, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know about you, but I saw the David Lynch film when I was probably inappropriately young, and it left such a strong impression on me, you know, so it's such a kind of incredible imaginative world to come into. But I think that the way that Alison has kind of adapted it, you know, very much in her own way, in terms of having these incredibly strong female characters. And, you know, given that the book is about, if you like, the origins of the Bene Gesserit, I think it doesn't feel like a sort of classic sci-fi in the sense that sometimes that can feel quite abstract. It feels like there really is a lot of human drama going on. So, yeah, I think it's really original from that point of view.
And when you were preparing to play your characters, did you go back and kind of rewatch either the David Lynch films or the more recent Denis Villeneuve ones? Did you go back to the books? Was it there in the script for you?
Actually, my character wasn't in the book, so I feel lucky where I don't have to, can't fall in the trap of trying to copy something. So it's got to have a bit of freedom, and yeah, but there's so much detail in the scripts. You know, everybody's got their own voice, everybody's got their hidden agendas, and it's one big chess match. You know, one big riddle that you're just trying to work out.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think as an actor, you know, sometimes you kind of have to put the source material to one side and you just have to sort of approach what is there in the script and start afresh. Because otherwise you can be carrying too many ideas all at once. And I think really the challenge, certainly for my character, was just making them feel real and relatable. You know, so if anything, I would sort of read a bit about, you know, medieval queens who were sort of the power behind the throne, just to try and breathe life into this character. Because, you know, if you're told sort of you're empress of 80,000 planets, it's a slightly difficult, you know, thing to get across as an actor. So, yeah.
And coming to your specific characters, what can you tell us about each of them and how they fit into these kind of power dynamics? So Desmond Hart?
With the power dynamics, I come in with a bit of a sort of mysterious kind of character, one that I think is a bit more working class. And he comes into this fancy, materialistic sort of world of the Imperium. And he's had some special stuff that's happened to him in the past that gives him some powers and some strengths. And he's here to take down certain people and to reach his agenda. And he'll do anything torturing or was prepared to hurt people to achieve his goals.
Empress Natalia is a really interesting character because I think when we first meet her, you know, we see someone who feels almost like a bit of a frustrated housewife. You know, she's not found a way of being heard, and she's in this marriage that started off as a partnership that she thought was very much going to be one of equals. And then we see a woman who's really got to find a way of being heard and finding, a way to be in a position of influence. So there is something quite mercenary about her that's really interesting to play. And I would say, you know, the sort of point of reference for her is that she's a dark horse. And she's definitely a character who really keeps you guessing.
And, I mean, this is like the ultimate example of kind of prestige TV. I mean, the production value is just through the roof. Such incredible world building. What is it like, you know, being on these sets? Maybe that first day when you set foot on there.
Yeah, it blows your mind, the imagination and the talent and the craftsmanship. And it really takes a huge team, especially with the time restraints, to make a show like this. So it's it's pretty crazy what people can achieve. They're
Yeah.
very talented people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of breathtaking, being in that throne room on the first day. It really reminded me of, the kind of sets of Ken Adams' set design for Kubrick on Doctor Strangelove or, Bertolucci's The Last Emperor. I mean, they were just epic cinematic sets that were huge. So, and there's also something very theatrical about those sets. So they're really a crucible in which characters have to kind of, they're either destroyed or they're made in that kind of amphitheatre of power. So it was breathtaking, yeah.
And I guess no spoilers, but did you have a favourite moment in the making of it, or when you watch it back now, an episode that you can't wait for audiences to see?
I love the lunches, they were free.
I think he's being ironic, possibly.
You go, you answer.
I don't know. I mean, it's great to kind of feel like you're working with actors who all want to sort of push the boundaries a bit, and kind of go, okay, we could go this way with something, but we're going to try, not to make obvious choices. And, that's always really exciting to be around that. And I think that Emily really set the tone for that. She's such an extraordinary actress. She's one of my acting heroes, and she always brings such a sense of truth and integrity to everything she does. So there was a really good vibe in that respect. And I think, she just set the example for all of us. So, yeah, it's exciting to be in that kind of energy in the room.
And, coming back to the idea of this genre, that people do seem to have an endless appetite for, and how this might fit in with other shows. I mean, I heard Emily also talking about the fact that maybe there is a slightly more morally ambiguous universe here than you might have seen in other shows where there's maybe more clear-cut, sort of good and bad, evil and good. So what do you think's very interesting about the genre in general, but particularly where this kind of show fits into it?
I think it's very thought-provoking in a way of everybody's got the hidden agendas. Everybody thinks they're justified in doing whatever they're doing. And when a character or a person really, really believes in their cause, it makes the fight so much more intense, And I think there's so many characters that have different voices and you can root. There's so many characters that choose to follow their journey and root for. And I think it just makes for just great TV, like watching a great fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, it really feels like the gold standard. If there was a sci-fi genre, kind of classic you wanted to be associated with, it would be Dune. If there was a platform that was going to make that, it would be HBO. And for me, the kind of elevator pitch, rather, for this show is, it's sort of The Handmaid's Tale meets The Sopranos in space, So I think what's different about this is that it's not like your average sci-fi fare. There's a lot more character work going on, which is unusual. Normally I think a lot of series are plot-led, and this is character-led. So it really stands apart, and you really are talking about human relationships. So I think that's what's really fresh about this.
And do you know yet what's on the horizon next? We're going to see more from this cast and this particular part of the universe?
Well, I hope so. I really enjoyed making it. I think the scripts are crazy. Crazy good.
Crazy good.
Hopefully the audience enjoy it and we go back next year and continue.
Yeah.
More episodes.
I think what's interesting, there's so much that we don't even know, obviously, but I think what's great is when you finish a project and you kind of think, actually, I really want to know what, how my character evolves. And I think the fact that these characters are written that way is testimony to Alison's writing,
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. And I can't wait for everyone else to see Dune Prophecy. Thanks so much.
Thank you.